All right, we're live. Okay, video editor, please edit out anything that is not the beginning of the presentation. Thank you. Okay, the real presentation. I guess I've already introduced it, so let's just get into it. Okay, so, geez, what? Like that, and like that. Okay, awesome. So this is just like an intro PowerPoint to put you on the same page, and then it's going to be a live demo because I don't really like PowerPoints. So, but it was necessary. So okay, as we've somewhat gone over, I guess I've deflated my little build up a little bit here, but that's all right. Do you want to fill out like this guy here? That's a editable PDF, or something like this, a sleek looking website form. Okay, that's the correct answer. If you like the first one, you might be in the wrong presentation. Okay, so what FillPDF does is help you turn such a web form submission into a filled PDF with little, it's the same PDF as we saw before. It's got this stuff in it now. You can't edit the fields anymore. You notice they're not blue. And like this is a little thing showing how it went in there. And it's the same format as the other one was, other than having the data in it. And new, you can email it as an attachment. Although it requires some setup, but you can do it, which is the coolest part. Because before you couldn't actually do it at all. So, all right. Okay, now we get into the live demo. So, let's start with this little form that, what just happened? Why did it do that? It didn't even do anything. Why did it, I didn't turn on mirroring or anything. Okay. I got the intro done at least. It lasted for that.
Oh, come on.
Now you saw what it does. We're getting there gradually. What did I do?
It keeps going to that. Do you have anything running that's affecting the display? Because it's running at a different hertz and.
Yeah, I think it's called Mac OS 10. Let me.
Turn off anything that's affecting the display.
Nothing that is. I'm recording. I don't know.
No, that's fine. Recording's fine. Background stuff. Any of this.
Yeah, let's just close stuff. Whatever. I just want to be able to. Sorry. It's not going to kill me.
Oh, we rebooted twice, so...
Rebooted the projector?
No,
oh, you even have a different projector?
Yeah, it's a different one. We know it works.
Known good.
Try one... Yeah,
this one. Come on, projector gods.
Just as tense.
All right. We already applauded it for it, so we don't have to do it again. Okay. I better show you this before it goes out again. So, this is the. Oh, okay. I gotta start my VM again because I suspended it when we restarted. This won't take long. It starts in like 2 seconds. Sites, presentations, full PDF, Vagrant up. You heard the Vagrant. The tech people are like, yes. I showed someone that this morning, and they were like, wow, thank you. Anyway. Oh, I bet you. And then I'll just kind of move the window over manually. Because I tried using a better snap pane or whatever shortcut before, and I think that's when the projector kicked out. So I'm going to avoid that. Okay, so this is a little web form I set up. Kind of trying to mimic something realistic. Buyer information form for real estate. I just looked one up and kind of copied it in a creative sort of way. And it has a corresponding PDF, which looks something like this. thinks that's... It's the one you saw in the, it's the same one that you saw in the presentation, for sake of consistency and whatnot. Okay, and so, all right, so I've already filled this out before, so I think you know how to fill out a web form. So let's look at a couple ways in which how we actually get it there. So for convenience, I've set up a view in advance that already has links to trigger fill PDF. Because the way that you trigger it is with a link. And as counterintuitive as this seems, it gives you a lot of flexibility in how you actually start, how you trigger the PDF downloading process. So you can just redirect them to the page when they submit something, and then it just starts. It'll send a download. You're not... It's like views or rules or whatever, you have that flexibility, so you have to use the flexibility to get it going. But it's not too bad. It's a link with a few... with like one question mark and some ampersands in it. And it's documented. So just look at the documentation, and there are examples of how to do it. And you can just copy, paste, change, and set up. So let's do one of these. This is the one that when I click it, it'll download it. And then so it tells me to download it. And then if we look at that, then it's what I had filled out in that submission there. And you see, like, option buttons and checkboxes work as well, which is nice. And so that's kind of what the user experience is. So let's look a little bit at how this kind of thing is actually set up in the background. Where is that? Okay. Let me refresh these pages. So you have your, when you first install the module, that's good to go over. There's only a few settings. There's a few ways you can get it to work. You can install one of two things on your server, documented how to do this, or you can use Fill PDF service. That's that logo that was in the demo site there. You can probably look that up pretty easily. And if you use it, you just put in an API key, and whether you want to use HTTPS, you do, or not, and away you go. So then you go to this page here, and you upload your PDF. And then so when you upload it, you come to one like this that reads the fields in it and then lets you set it up. So you see all these like things between square brackets here. You might recognize them as tokens if you've used tokens before. And they're like kind of field names, and it tells it what field or what value you want to use for that specific PDF key. So in my PDF, the field is named city, and I'm saying, okay, well, I want to put the city field on my web form into the city field on my PDF, and so on. And something that I got worked out, I don't know, like last week, that is pretty cool is that you can actually tell it which like option in a select on a web form you want to correspond to an option on an option button on a PDF. Because there were some problems with that. You don't really want to see the old way of doing this. It was possible, but okay, well, I'll tell you the old way of doing it. Okay, so if we go to edit a particular field, and at the same time we can look at the field edit page. You see you can give it a label if you can't remember what it is. If it's named something really confusing like LiveCycle PDFs tend to do, like form1.subform1.control12345. You can just label it like city or whatever. And
so you can create the token string?
The tokens are provided by WebForm Tokens and by Token itself. And you can see which ones are available here. And you can access quite a few because in Drupal 7, at least in Drupal 7, because in Drupal 7 you can okay, so we have a node, but then we have the author of the node, and then you have all these user tokens for that author. And somebody actually solved their how do I get profile 2 information into my PDF? And I'm like, can you use a node author and chain it? And they're like, that worked. So yeah, it uses either node tokens or web form tokens, and I'll try to hide the rest of those at some point. Just ignore them for now. Web form tokens is a separate module you can add if you need it, and this one will recognize that. And if you use web form rules, there's a patch that makes it not break web form tokens. So make sure you apply that if you do. Otherwise, it will break web form tokens. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, documented again. You can just click here, and then you click here, and it'll populate the token. You get that for free because of the token module and it providing all of that. And for option buttons, I can give you a hint as to what used to have to be done. You can see that I'm doing this. There's this thing here called transform values on this field, and this is because of we're like trying to put a thing from one system into a thing from another system that has different expectations sometimes, and you can't make the systems the same. In other words, my checkbox wants me to say yes if I want it to be checked, but Drupal would like to store that value as garage. So how do I tell it garage means yes? That's how you tell it. Garage means yes. And you can put as many of these as you want, and it's just a one-to-one replace. So if it reads garage from the token that I put up there, let's actually read that a little slower and see what it is. Okay, so web form. Okay, so I'm saying that I want the select option whose I'm saying select key. That means the computer name of it, the computer readable one, which is just lowercase garage. Of this field, select the criteria you're after. That's a web form field. I want that value to go into the PDF. And then in this case, it's saying, okay, if that value that I just set up there, that big long thing, is yes, then please is garage, then please send yes instead to the PDF and not garage, so the box gets checked. So you'll quickly see the need for that if you use radio buttons or checkboxes, and that's kind of where that came from. What I was doing before I had this like give me the value of a specific option on a web form was I was using chain tokens, and so like I would okay, so there are different kinds of tokens. One of them is called an array, and this is like when really it's a PHP array for people who know what that is. For people who don't, it just means that you have several values in one place, like in one field. This kind of thing, it's just a single value, garage, and it's blank or it's garage. But you can also have multiple value fields that in one sort of place you have several values. And so with token, you can go into those and like, put them all together separated by a comma, for example, and that's what I was doing. I was getting every possible combination that meant that this box should be checked and replacing it with yes. So this is a lot easier. There were like 16 rows in there sometimes. So that's why I was motivated to fix that.
And the transform, is that one per line or one?
One per line, yeah. It tells you down here like how it works. Okay, so that is essentially how you set it up. Let's look at some of the other options and features on this page. You can save. Okay, so here you can see I'm actually looking at, this is not the PDF that I just used, or the PDF configuration that I just used. This is the one I'm about to show you. And in this one, it doesn't download the PDF. It saves it to a file path instead. So you could just save it to a configurable path underneath site's default files or whatever your public file path is on your server. And which it could be good if you're like selling the PDF or something and you don't want people to have it as soon as they filled in the data. Pay now and get your PDF. People do this, so. Or I mean, you may have seen a lot of books that actually do put your name on like every page of the book. So you could do that with this.
When you had the view for the list of them, you said it made it sound like it renders the PDF on the web. But this makes it look like it's actually saving a copy of the PDF on the server.
Well, it renders it either way, but it either sends it to you to download or it saves that on the server as a file. I'll show you. Okay, and then you can use tokens for the file path. So like you probably can't read it, but it says web form meta SID, meaning the submission ID. So like there will be a folder called 15, a folder called 16, and so on. And then I can say like, oh, okay, well, this submission resulted in this PDF, and I can actually locate it. There's something called redirect directly to PDF, which means that it'll take the browser to the PDF that was saved as a file, versus just going to the home page or wherever you told it to go after saving it. And this one's supposed to do that, but it's not doing it. So just imagine that like when you click a PDF on a site and it opens a PDF, that's what it's supposed to do. Maybe I just messed up somehow, so sorry about that. Okay, so that's pretty much the options. You can download a sample as well. That'll just put it'll put the field names of the PDF fields into the PDF fields, so you can see that like where they're going to go and how they're going to look. It's useful. You can see what font. If you set your fonts and stuff in Adobe Acrobat, or other tool that you can use. You can use OpenOffice. In fact, if you do OpenOffice form fields and export it, it'll work. It's really crazy. I didn't believe someone who told me that, but well, I was forced to believe it. And I imagine other PDF creation tools. I know LiveCycle works. And you have to use LiveCycle if you want to stamp images onto the PDFs, because I was only able to get it to work with a LiveCycle image field, and LiveCycle is Windows only. I discovered upon getting a Mac, which sucks. So I'm probably going to try to solve that one again. But right now, if you want to do it, that's how you have to do it. And if you're stamping images onto PDFs, hopefully you work for like some big company that can afford LiveCycle on Windows. Yeah. Okay. So that's the bad news. And let's look at the good news, which is that it works and lets you do a lot of things. Okay, so going back to our little, what's wrong? Where is it? Yeah, I guess so. It seems like we went back in time to when I hadn't refreshed this page somehow. So, all right. Now we're back to the future. Okay, so you see this is a very similar view, except it has to file on it, which is because when I click it, it's going to very ingloriously refresh, just go back. The link here, which is, I guess, not showing up, it must be cut off at the bottom. Let's see if I can copy it and show it to you in the... Okay, this is I did it the really complex way in views. I could have made it simpler. But you see I have this destination thing, and I'm telling it where to go after it does the file. If you don't tell it where to go, it'll go to the home page. And when you check redirect to PDF, it's supposed to go to the PDF. But I believe that destination, I made it so destination, it actually overrides the redirect to PDF. So that's probably why that wasn't working for me. And that's documented in the option there, so in case you forget, like I did, because I didn't read. So you should read, unlike me, who's presenting this. But anyway, the meat of the story is that if we go to the Finder in the directory that it should be going to, you see that this buyer information forms has appeared. Which, if you read what I had configured the path to be, you may remember that. If not, just take my word on it. And then 15, which I did explain, the submission ID. That's what that one was. And then you have a PDF in there, which, upon opening, is much like the one that we saw before. In fact, it's the exact same thing. It's just saved in a different location, with some checkboxes checked and option button working, and so on. So that's another way to get the PDFs out. And that's essentially how that works. Did I answer your question, by the way, along the way? About what it means to save it to a file and all that? Right, the default, if you don't set that up, is to download it to the browser. To send it to the browser to download. Yeah, so, I mean, that's... we're forgetting the most important part, which is, I want to see the email attachment. Okay, let's show you the email attachment. Yeah, I'll show you a little bit about how that was set up as well, but first let's just do it. So I have a throwaway email here at .mail, and I should have a bunch of emails. I don't have a bunch of emails. There's probably a reason for that. Let's look at the rule and find out when, and I can do it under the guise that I'm just showing you how it works. Okay, so... so you go to rules. You have to install rules for this to work. it provides a default rule that you can turn on and customize, and you have to customize it. If you turn on, you need web form rules, and mind mail and rules. And then this will appear. You can see I've already set it up. So let's look at this. Basically, PhilPDF itself has some rules integration to make this whole deal work. So it's using web form rules. When I submit the web form, then I want to say, is this the web form that I'm interested in, which was number 3, and this web form rules thing, which I suppose I needed. And then massaging data in rules. This is what most of what this is. I'm just saying, like, okay, I want, because you can do multiple like submissions, you can tell it multiple ones, and it'll use the latest populated value that it finds. I don't know. I still don't understand why people would want to use multiple submissions, but they can, so it works. So. So then I'm just doing that. I'm just telling it, which submission do I want to do. I'm changing it or something, and then converting the data type, because rules is really particular about the data types, and you can't access certain things unless it's the same data type, which confused me. And I needed the development version of rules to convert data type, just so you know. So get the development version if you want to use this feature. Add an item to list, blah, blah. Okay, the meat of it, load a PhilPDF configuration. So it brings in all the settings from one of those things on that screen that we were looking at before. Oops. Like this screen, this is a PhilPDF configuration. And then this load a PhilPDF configuration basically sort of sucks that into a variable so that other things can work. Okay, and you fill a PDF with web form data. That's pretty understandable. And then save. See, what that does is it creates the PDF in just a rules variable. And then when and then you can decide what to do with it. So you have that filled PDF. Okay, I want to save it to a file. In that case, I'm telling it. And then I want to add a variable, which is the email address of the person who submitted the web form. And then I want to send an email to them. And so this is where it's really cool. So then I can just pick it with the little fancy rules data selector thing. I just pick the submitter email. I can set a subject like copy of completed PDF for your records. Thank you for filling out the form and the body. And then I can tell it an attachment. And then so this whole big thing, I give it the file path to the attachment. That's what all that was for. And it works. So maybe I got the email address wrong on that one. Let's see what I had in there. Oops. Save. What I had in this submission. So we gotta go back to the form. Let's just look at the submission. I'd really like you to see that. They deleted all my tests from like a week ago because it's a temporary email account. Go figure. Uh-oh. I'll postpone it and then that's it. So, okay. Fixes that. Alright, so let's see. It should be PhilPDF testing at dougmail.com. So, let's see if they're in here. Good. Why don't we go into questions and then kind of tinker along into questions? Yeah? So, well, you would, on the web form side, you would just use like a multi-page web form or something where the fields aren't all required. And then once it's done, you generate the PDF. Well, you could just regenerate it with all the data. Yeah, if it's a node, you could do that as well. I mean, the main thing is like you want. Okay. Oh, what you could do is it's documented how to do this. You could turn off the flattening of the fields so that it fills in a few of them, and you can just open it up as a normal PDF and type in the rest later. So that's what you would want to do in that case, if you wanted to finish it in PDF land. Yeah. It's like when you pass multiple submission IDs to it, like to fill it with multiple submissions, and as far as I can see, it just takes the last one in the list and uses that. So I'm sure there was some sort of accommodation or reason that this was done, and that it was broken at some point and then fixed. But I don't understand that use case very well myself.
Well, I was thinking like with the kind of play use case that you had.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Some other time when you combine both things, yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess that might be another thing to look at too. He's saying you have several like submissions of different parts of the data, and then you put them all together and tell it to use that.
Yeah, like I guess maybe this is better. Maybe you could kind of contemplate how you do a form where there's, the customer fills out their part, but then there's office use. Where an office person might assign a number to this project or check off a different thing.
Yeah.
Could you potentially render PDF in two different sets? Or maybe, I guess, the same name or fields in the name.
Like two different nodes?
Well, two different users now, so editing the same PDF. Generate, could the PDF be generated from...
Well, multiple users can generate it. Is that what you mean?
Like, what about what if you have like a vacation request that the employee fills out and has to go to their manager to approve it, and then you want a single PDF that shows employee requested vacation and then the manager's approval on one final form to save for record keeping purposes.
I think if you did...
I mean, I think you would do that in Drupal. You would once it was approved, then you would generate the PDF.
So you have some fields are available only to the supervisor, and some fields are available to the customer.
Oh yeah, I mean you
They
could,
can edit.
you should be able to do stuff like that. Except fields. Yeah, I don't check field access that rigorously. So when they filled, which in this case would be good, because then they could just fill in everything, and then the manager who could access some fields could do the rest. But I mean, usually you can solve a lot of that just through workflow. Which, if they're both using Drupal anyway, then you can just get them to do it in Drupal, and then when you're done, just once it's approved, print it out at that point. Yeah, so probably what happened is there's probably I bet like port 25 is blocked on the network here, and so it can't send the email. That's probably what's happening. So let me see if it tried to send the email. So it'll probably tell me. Just realized actually I do know how to check this. Where is that? It's here. So go in here, and this will only take a second. Look at the system log, and isn't that where it fails? Okay. Yeah, the email. It tried to send the email. It just can't. So yeah, that was today. It tried to send it to the wrong person, but it did try to send an email. And okay. Well, let's look at that. Maybe there is a way to get this to work. One last thing. It looked like it was trying to send it to the site user, but I have a feeling maybe that's an outdated message because I already changed that. I thought I was trying to send it to admin@example.com. No, she already changed it. Whatever. You'll have to try that one. I'll leave that as an exercise to the reader.
If you were going to incorporate the digital signature with this, how would you do that?
You would fill it out, and then they would have to digitally sign the result.
Okay, that's how I'm trying to avoid it, is after you fill it out, and then you can sign it on the website without having to go to the step. So you can really use it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have that feature now. If any contributions of that feature come, I will be willing to accept them.
I came across another service that it does it where it redirects you to their website.
Mm-hmm.
And as through the PDF doesn't run it, it does it through your website, so it just opens a window on your website with the PDF.
Mm-hmm.
And you can digitally sign it, and then it gets sent back to you. And much like the meeting.
Yeah, maybe you can send me that. I could see what they're doing. I have to pretty much wrap up. I'm already over the time in which I was supposed to stop. So let me flash this in front of you. This is the Phil PDF service site. It's one of those options if you don't want to install stuff on your server. It has a link to the demo here, which basically just shows you what I showed you, so you don't really have to use the demo anymore. You just got a better one. It has plans based on number of fills that you're going to do per month. You can read about that. If you want, like, it's in the PowerPoint. Let's look. Where's the PowerPoint? Questions and answers. Okay, let's check. Okay. If you want 10% off, email me. If you're thinking of subscribing to this thing. I used to have a coupon, but nobody actually used the coupon, so their prices are on the site. Right now it's 12 for like 1,000 a month and 39 for unlimited. meaning like if you're doing more than 50,000, I'm probably going to contact you and be like, let's work something out. But yeah, it's basically unlimited. Nobody's doing 50,000. Yeah. Was there one more question? I saw a face that I can't see.
I have an answer.
Oh, he has an answer.
The real estate industry and banks, they use DocuSign to legal assignment.
Ah. All right.
It's a web service.
Yeah, DocuSign. Well, I've heard of DocuSign. I probably used it myself for some things. Okay, cool. I have cards if anyone wants to get one from me. But other than that, thank you for coming. This is the largest audience I've ever had for this, so I'm really happy. And for putting up with all the technical issues. Okay, here you go. I have more. Which one? WizOne Solutions? WizOne.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Sure. Wait, didn't I do? Oh no, we were just sitting next to Yeah, it actually was more interesting because of all the problems. I had to adapt. But it was good at adaptation. I mean, it spurred some interesting conversation. That was almost, in some ways, it was better than the presentation.
Well, next time,
Maybe warm the room up. Cool. So, okay, he gave me instructions. When done, press stop.